We're going to talk about that. Hello. I'm just waiting for somebody when I say it to do it. Right. That's the elementary teacher in me. So I get excited. Okay, so I am, if you will be patient with me in terms of what you're projecting on the screen, I'm working on uploading the video and trying to get that video going before, anyway, it's just technical. I'm having a bit of a technical snafu, but it's okay. On the website, you will see across the top, there's a button that says More on the far right. If you hover over that, click on that button, go down, you'll see Dispositions. Okay? That's where we're going next. Dr. Johnson's going to talk with you about the dispositions by which you will be assessed during 250, 350, and 450. Okay? I think you also have a paper copy of this in your folder as well. So if you want to take notes on that, feel free. Dr. Johnson.
Okay. Before we get into that, though, I wanted to have us all give Wendy Curryfield a round of applause for arranging this wonderful lunch. She's not here. So instead of giving her a round of applause, how about a round of applause for those chips?
Oh, yeah.
Keep it on Cook County. I hope you can join us another time because those chips. Okay, so you have a paper copy and you also have an online copy of the Educator Disposition Assessment. And this is written so you can see across the top of the rubric where it says needs improvement, developing, and needs expectations. And of course, down the side you can see where the different categories that we're going to talk about. So the first one is effective oral communication skills. And so that would be when you're speaking in the classroom and just using appropriate language and the grammar, language conventions, and then speaking with clarity of thought. So that's my own sentence, but just so that when what you're saying sounds like what you want it to say. So my sentence just now wasn't a very good picture of thought. Probably because it's after lunch. But when you speak, making sure that what you say is what you mean. It's harder to do in oral communication on the spot, but in your writing as well. And you're participating in various things by raising your hand and talking, answering questions, and then also in your clinical site, communicating with your teacher, communicating with other teachers. And then communicating at an age-appropriate level. So when you're talking to the students that you have in your classroom, making sure that you're using language that they can understand or you explaining things on their terms. And we're trying to go for meets expectations on all these guys, or start exceeding those even. Moving on to effective written communication skills. So remembering to communicate respectfully in your writing. Remember that everything you write is there and it's always there. So as you write an email, read it back to yourself and think, how might this be perceived? Sometimes in written communication, we may come off a little bit different than how we want to be perceived. So be thinking about those capital letters and exclamation points, or just this short staccato sentences that you might be writing in there. Just make sure that it's coming across the way you want to be perceived, and the choice of words that you're using in your written communication is what you need it to be. And you'll see this when you're a teacher and you're sending out written communication to your parents. Sometimes you can be taken as angry and you don't mean to be. You're just trying to be short and sweet. But make sure that you're being an effective communicator that way. Again, with the writing, it needs to be precise spelling and grammar. especially, parents are really going to want to see this and they're going to be talking to each other if it's not. So we're going to be helping you along the way as you're doing your assignments, your discussion boards, your papers, by expecting you to use, conventional spelling and grammar. And so don't feel like your professor is picking on you if we're marking and giving you feedback on all your little mistakes in your paper. We're just trying to get you so that you can kind of fly solo later on and not make those mistakes. And I think this is hard in written communication because we're so used to this like texting and Facebook era where we don't necessarily think so much about capitalization or grammar or spelling. We just kind of put things out there, but with our written communication, it needs to be complete sentences and as if you were speaking, as if you were writing to the parents in your classroom. Then we're just moving on to the next one. That would be professionalism, and this is really important. And like Dr. Weston already said, that every day you're in your clinical placement is like an interview for you, and that would be responding, promptly to communication. So, what's our official time to respond? Do we have an official? You need to respond to an email within a certain number of times.
For our students, for us, to them.
Either. We respond within.
We try to respond within 24 to 48 hours, depending on if it's a weekend. You should try to do the same.
Yeah. If
we send you something.
And then if it's a parent at your school, you would follow the guidelines of your school, which is, I'm guessing, it's probably 24 to 48 as well. Being on time and being consistently present, attending senior classes. Maintaining professional boundaries, so and ethical standards of practice. So, you probably become friendly with your cooperating teacher. I want to call it political educator. Thank you. You become friendly with them, but you have to still be professional. You're still on that interview every day, and so even though you might want to joke around or just still keeping that within a professional stance. Keeping your personal life and issues out of the classroom and workplace if it's inappropriate. So if you have if you have things going on in your life, keeping those out of the classroom or your workplace. So functioning as a group, and I think that this one is really the next one. Collaborating as a group is really important. So you are making these contacts and connections here, and you never know who is going to be helping you along the way later on in life. It might be a contact for you. So that group work that you're doing and collaboration is going to be a huge part of the work you do here, but then also later down the road, those people might be able to help you get a job or something like that. And I will tell you that the first job I ever had, I met a teacher and we kind of co-taught and collaborated together, and eventually she went off to get her PhD and became a dean of another school and then hired me there later, years and years later. So you never know who you're going to meet, even if you're both 22 years old. So later on, it would come in handy making those contacts that could be a reference for you later on. This next one under the positive and enthusiastic attitude, I think is really important. So actively seeking solutions to problems without prompting or complaining. So that would be, if you're a proactive person and you have an issue, first, if you can, try to solve it on your own. And that includes technical issues. Like, can you Google that yourself? And can you go read the syllabus and see if that answer is there? Just individually, independently, proactively, trying to figure out answers on your own. If you're even thinking to yourself, oh, is that mentioned in the video in class? Going back and watching that video yourself before maybe reaching out to your professor that then is notified that you never read the syllabus and you didn't listen to class, right? So just trying to, or maybe didn't comprehend, maybe you listened but out there for a moment. But anyway, trying to, on your own, figure it out. Now, of course, we are here for you, and we want your questions, and we want to know if it is it's confusing, and we're here to help you, absolutely. But when you're on the job, you know, if there's going to be an expectation that you can be independent of certain things. So, Google and syllabi, those are great things. Trying new things that you may have never tried before, but if it's part of your school and your school's initiative, being a willing participant at your school or being a willing participant if we're asking you to do things. I know in some of our classes, especially on the elementary level, we get a little silly. Sometimes we have to pretend that the class members are elementary students in order to demonstrate a lesson or technique. So we might need for you guys to pretend that you're younger than you are, and it feels a little silly and maybe even a little demeaning, but you don't get a chance to see that demonstration if you don't go through with the activity. So it is there to help you. Let's see. Just be positive with the students that you're surrounded by, and that would be verbally and non-verbally, so like your facial expressions. Like everybody pretend you're walking through the grocery store. I want to see the TA's faces, and a kid is misbehaving. Teacher face. Like what? You know what face you didn't get? So trying to maintain like your positive professional face in school, even though when you go to the grocery store and see the kid misbehaving, you give that. You give that one.
Try not to yank them up.
This next one is about preparedness and teaching and learning. And I think this one is really important about accepting constructive feedback, because we're going to give you lots of feedback. It's really important for us to give you lots of feedback because our goal is for you to be independent. And we know that, you know, not everything is going to go perfectly. When we do it the first time, it doesn't always go perfectly. We accept your feedback as well. I've already gotten some great feedback for next time we do an orientation. So we accept it, and our feelings aren't hurt, and it's really just to help you be independent. But when you get that feedback, try to incorporate that into your next assignment, the next thing that you do. And it's hard to hear sometimes that you didn't do something perfect, because a lot of us, raise your hand, you are perfectionists. I mean, I know I am. I want it to be perfect, and I want it to be perfect the first time, and I think I'm pretty darn good at this, but it's not going to be, because we're human and we make mistakes. So just be willing to accept that without any kind of hurt feelings or anything like that, just knowing that we are about you guys getting better. Learning and adjusting from experience and reflection. Experience and reflection is what's going to get, this reflection piece is what's going to get you through this program to make you be a better teacher. So when you do a paper, when you do a discussion board, or when you have a clinical experience, taking the time to like really think about that and asking yourself, well, how could I improve the next time? Every time, always taking that time to reflect on that and make yourself better as well. Coming to class planned and with all the needed materials. I know the expectation is in my class that you actually complete those readings. I know it is in Dr. Wesson's class, probably yours. You complete your readings before you ever get there. And that way your professor doesn't have to lecture you so much on the actual content of those readings. We take a deeper dive and we learn more. And so you're kind of getting that initial learning on your own, and then we take a deeper dive together. And that way you can really use the expert that's there with you to take it further. Where am I? So this one is a tricky one. Altering lessons in progress when needed as evidenced by the ability to change plans mid-lesson and overcome deficits. And this is a really learned skill. I see the TAs are like nodding their head. It is really hard when you have a plan that doesn't go according to plan. And you have to be able to pivot and take it in a different direction and if the students aren't understanding as you're going along, what can you do? Be ready. Have other things planned. Over plan. So you have other things in mind to be able to switch the course of your lesson to do something different if it's needed. The next one is talking about your appreciation and value for cultural and academic diversity. So this is, we're talking about meets expectations with all of these because I want you all to meet expectations at least. Embracing all diversity, and that's culture, but it's also learning styles. I think we talked about that earlier, and somebody talked about it. Implementing inclusive activities. We're including everybody, and inclusive behaviors with the students that you're working with. And creating a safe classroom with a zero tolerance policy for negativity, and addressing and correcting negative student behaviors so that everyone can feel safe in your class. Moving on to collaborating effectively with stakeholders. So stakeholders are the people that are getting something out of what you're doing in any case. You can jump in anytime too.
You are doing, I'm just controlling the screen up here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this one, I put a star by it on my own. So this is when you have to be flexible when things don't go your way. If you're at a faculty meeting and the majority of the faculty votes that we're not going to wear jeans on Friday, and you voted that you wanted to, then you kind of have to understand that we go with the majority. If we decided to vote, we're going with the majority on this. So being respectful that that's how your faculty chose to choose things. Or if we're in class and we kind of vote, this
I don't know
is so
why.
terrible.
Try walking that way a little bit.
Oh,
There you
thank
go.
you. I needed your feedback. To get rid of the feedback.
Away from the speaker, you want the or the other microphone.
Yeah.
So, and we may vote in class on different things, moving an assignment due date or something like that. And if that doesn't work out for you, but the majority voted on that, well, we got to kind of just be able to move on from that. So that's what we chose. So moving on from negative, something that might feel negative to you. Maintaining a respectful tone at all times, not interrupting or talking over others. That just goes without saying, I would think. Proactively sharing your teaching strategies. I think this is really important because I have taught in schools where there's this culture of I want to be the first grade teacher that everybody wants to have, so I'm not going to share my ideas with everybody else because I want to be the known as the best one. And that's not what we're looking for here. We're looking to send you out into a world where you can collaborate with other teachers and work on things together. And I mean, really, 3 heads, 4 heads, 5 heads, it's all better than one. So, and there's really no sense in reinventing the wheel if you can collaborate together and work on something together. I mean, you've heard that panel, how busy they are. How much better is it when they can collaborate with the teachers instead of just kind of keeping it all to themselves? And so there will be an expectation of group work and collaboration within the program as well. Recognizing your own weaknesses and then seeking solutions for those before asking for support. So that's 3 parts. Knowing what areas you need to improve on, making a plan to make those better before asking for support. And you'll go through in different classes in our program and create goals for yourself to become a better teacher. I know I'm teaching facilitating learning in the 21st century, and we do that. We write goals for ourselves as teachers to how we can get better, and I'm still doing it. How we can get better as teachers, and then we make a plan for how to do that. We don't just say, I'm going to get better at this and hope it happens magically. We seek professional development or talk to teachers who are really good at that and find ways to get better at things. And then ask for support if you need it, though. I'm not saying you can't ask for help. So we talked a lot about, I know in 302, those of you who have me, about research-based practices and ideas and effective teaching styles. So we're going to ask you in a lot of your discussion boards and a lot of the work that you do here, is it research-based? Where did you read that this is a good idea? And part of that is because they're going to ask you to do that in a TPA. That's all. And when you write your TPA lesson plans, you're going to have to say, I chose this strategy because this researcher, this study said that this is the best way to do it. That's one reason, but that's just a small reason because that's one small test. Your other reason is because that's just good teaching. You know, we don't just do something because it really looked cute on Pinterest. I mean, sometimes we do, but it also has to be research based, and we need to know that it's helping the kids in there. So we're going to ask you all along the way: is it research based? Is it research based? And if it is, you're going to cite your source because if it's not your idea originally, you absolutely have to cite it. And if you paraphrase anything that anybody else said, you need to cite it and cite the page number there. And you're probably thinking, well, how do I know if something's research-based? Well, your professors are going to help you do that. Your textbooks that you have are going to help you do that. They have citations right in there, too, that are going to tell you exactly who said what and why. And then we also have a great library resources that will help you figure out what is research-based, what is peer-reviewed. It's something that's pretty big and that you'll need to be a peer-reviewed journal. So not only did some person research it, other researchers said, yeah, that was sound research, they did a good job with that, and it can go ahead and be published so that you guys can go ahead and cite it and use it. Demonstrating maturity and self-regulation by remaining calm when discussing sensitive issues. This is just a life lesson that we all have to learn, but remaining calm when something happens is not a not calm moment. You're going to have that a lot in schools. I mean, elementary schools, we have uncalm moments all the time, but remaining calm, keeping composure. I'm sure high school, I'm sure is it too, middle school. Demonstrating perseverance and resilience, grit, with a tenacious attitude, by being tenacious and determined to persist through tough situations. I can't get it.
Really?
What is it? Can I talk or now?
No, they need to be able to hear.
Okay.
We make sure it's not blue doing
Perseverance
it.
is a big one. There are going to be things that happen along your way that you didn't plan, and a lot of us are type A. We really like our plans to work. We have a student teacher up here who had an issue with her placement and had to be moved at the beginning, and these things happen by no fault of their own, by no fault of your own. But being able to persevere and being positive through those changes is what's going to help you get through it. And it's going to help you be a better person and a better teacher. You're going to have all kinds of changes like that when you become a teacher anyway. A new principal, he's going to come knock on your door the week before school starts and be like, hey, how do you like kindergarten?
Oh.
It doesn't matter if you like kindergarten, you're teaching it. And I mean, that happened to me. My second year teaching, I just got put in kindergarten, even though I thought I was teaching first grade all summer. And a fifth grade teacher also had to go down to kindergarten. Like, these things happen, and we're going to prepare you to persevere with resilience and grit. It doesn't mean that, you have to say yes to everything, but you do have to be flexible and professional about it. Demonstrating sensitivity to feelings of others by being compassionate and empathetic and having some social awareness. So I'm really big on empathy and trying to figure out where the person is coming from and why they made the decisions they made and what the reason is behind the behavior that is being exhibited. And so that's what we're expecting of you to try to look and see why a coworker, why another student, or why a child is making the choices they make before you kind of react to them. That way you can be proactive about your response rather than reactive. And I get to the end or what?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
got to the end. Look at that. Any questions? We have a few minutes. all that. Do you want to tell them again when they're going to be assessed on these?
I will, yes. If you will do me a favor
Yes.
and get this into presentation mode.
So, EDA, Educator Dispositions Assessment. I'm running from the buzz. You will actually be assessed at the end of this semester. You'll be assessed in 350. I'm just going to move around until I find a place that doesn't buzz. You'll be assessed in 450, student teaching. So those are 3 times that you will be assessed. However, if there is any type of issue, this instrument comes out. If there's a dispositional issue, this instrument comes out. In the conference that you have with your professor and or your clinical educator will be based around this instrument. Guys, this is all about affect. This is all about social and emotional intelligence.
As long as you're on this side, you're going to give me feedback. Stay behind the speakers on top of the ceiling, you won't get feedback. And I only know that because I sing, I'm sorry, but yeah, you're going to get
Yeah, so where do I need to go?
behind the speakers and stay
So I need to go up front?
As long as you're on the side and you're running to the path of the speakers, you're going to continue to get the feedback.
All right. I'm gonna come over here. Okay. So, this is. All right.
Sorry.
I feel like I need to go out of song. You don't want me to. I get LaRonda up here, but I'm not doing it. You guys ever see those videos on Facebook? The lady, her comedy thing is, I ain't doing it. And her mouth's all, she does, oh, they're funny. Well, anyway, I'm back. So this is all about affect, okay? This is about having a positive disposition and displaying a positive disposition. I don't think that anything that Dr. Johnson went over surprised any of you in regards to being a teacher, right? They're common sense. If you're going to be a teacher, you have to be at meets or above expectation on this instrument. Okay? All right, guys, we're on the last leg of orientation. You almost survived. I need to get, your t-shirt should say, I survived School of Education orientation, fall 2019. So this last piece is a very, very important piece. We are going to, I'm still hearing it.
The microphone on the podium, is it off? The microphone that's on top of the podium, is it off?
Maybe. Do you know how to turn it off?
I don't.
Yeah, it's on. Okay. Overview of clinical experiences. You might know these microphones. Hold on. Overview of clinical experiences.
This is a microphone we can't turn off.
It's on. Yeah. Here, this is important for a lot of reasons. Clinical experiences are those times you can drop it off.
I'm trying
I'm
not
gonna stand. Hello. Hello. Mine did only take, it only took all of us in 6 hours. It's not saying much for us. Sorry.
Great minds thinking like it takes a village to write a child.
It takes a village to get that buzz to go away. All right. Clinical experiences. I'm exhausted. I don't know about you guys, but I'm exhausted. Clinical experiences are the times that you will be going out into classrooms. Now, I've got 2 sets of people that I'm talking to today about clinical experiences, so you may hear things that don't apply to you. And you may hear things that don't apply to you. Okay? Bear with me. Clinical experiences are an extremely important part of a teacher education program. You guys start clinical experiences in this class, and you will have one for every education course that you take. And what you do, what you observe, what you teach will be based on the courses that you're taking. There is a direct correlation between clinical experiences and coursework. Okay? So, you guys already know who I am, I think. We'll get past that. All right, so in this session, we're going to talk about application instructions in the placement process. We're going to talk about professional expectations. We're going to talk about other requirements. And then we're going to address questions and concerns. So let's get through this. Why clinical experiences? Well, there you go. It's a perfect opportunity for you to see what we're talking about in our classes in action. Offers diverse and supportive opportunities for you to practice pedagogy. Now, my TAs, you guys practice pedagogy every day. I know it. I know it happens. You're in it every day. My tugs, this may be the first time you go back into a school since you graduated from school. Right? Very different experiences. It also helps prepare you for student teaching. Imagine, if you will, if you were at a different university and you went through all of your coursework without stepping foot inside a school until student teaching. Just made me a little nauseous thinking about it. Guys, you need to get in the schools and be in the schools to know what you are walking into during student teaching. Because kids have changed, schools have changed, society has changed. Pedagogy and teaching strategies have changed. Preach it. Right? So you got to get in the schools. That's what clinical experiences do. We get you in the schools. Jump in anytime if you want to add anything, Dr. Johnson. One of the things that you are responsible for here with us is that handbook. You know, the one you did the scavenger hunt in? You gotta know that. Because all materials in the teacher education handbook, in the clinical experience handbook, and the student teaching handbook, which will be coming soon to you, you have to know it. I don't know doesn't work. I didn't know about it doesn't work. Comb those handbooks. That's why we had you do the scavenger hunt. That's why you're turning it in, part of your grade in 250 as an assignment. Because we want you to know this information. We can't hand feed this to you every single piece and part and morsel. It's your responsibility to take a look at these handbooks. They're in your blackboard shelves as well. Okay? So, all of your courses, what this nice little visual shows you is the fact that all of your coursework in the School of Education centers around clinical experiences. We have a tiered or a leveled system for clinical experiences. I can't remember if it's part of this presentation today or not, but level 1 classes are observation only. Level 2 classes are observation and some teaching. Level 3 classes are interviews and teaching. And then the last level, the final level, is the semester before student teaching and student teaching. There's some interviews in level 1. But level 1 is primarily observations with an interview or two.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. We get the buzz to go away, and now there's a squeak. Hamster in a wheel. It's running our power. All right. All right, so how do you apply for clinical experiences? Well, it is certainly not filling out a paper application. Environmentally conscious. So everything is online. You have received and have re-received, as of today, an email from TaskStream. Go back, search your emails, look in your junk folder, make sure it didn't get sent over there, but you have an email from TaskStream. In that email are directions for how to set up your TaskStream account. All right? All applications for clinical experiences are housed in TaskStream. Every semester, you will apply for clinical experiences for the courses that you're in that semester. It's usually due within 6 or 7 days of classes starting. Okay? Now, TAs, you have a different, it's called a DRF, but there are basically 2 DRFs when you log into TaskStream that you will see. One will say Fall 2019 Clinical Applications. That's for everybody that's not a TA or not residency and licensure only. Then you'll see one that is TA Fall Clinical Application. Some different questions in there for you guys, because I need to know where you are, what county you're in, what grade level you're in, what school you're in. Okay? For those of you that aren't a TA, you're just going to fill out the Fall Clinical 19 or Fall 2019. It may say 250. What's it say?
The one says application for certification. It says
Okay, so
the other one says
okay, so you don't worry about that one. I don't know why you even see an MLS. That's interesting. So the one that you are, I think, Mr. Seth is not here, but the one that you should be applying for should be the one that shows up on your screen, unless he was unsure of whether or not you were a TA. Okay? So you're going to fill that out.
What if you're in the school system but you're not
Are you in the TA program? Okay, we'll talk after. All right.
Are we good if we already did that?
If you already did that, you're fine.
Yeah, I accidentally made my class do it.
That's okay.
What about your
That's okay.
What about your teacher? How's that pay?
You're going to still fill one out. You're just going to put your school, your grade level, your classroom, and just indicate that it's your classroom. So if you are a residency person here today, you're just going to indicate your county, your school, your classroom, and let me know in the notes that you are the teacher of record in that classroom. Okay? Okay. Dates for application deadlines will always be posted in Craig Hall. They'll be posted on my door. They'll go out via the Gardner Web email. You guys have probably already gotten emails from me, Blackboard announcements, all that good stuff. Okay? Those will be sent out via your Gardner Web email. So, what's the takeaway from that? Check your Gardner Web email. Right. Check your Gardner Web email, because that's what we're using to communicate. Okay? With clinical applications, always be proactive. What that means is, don't be the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 students that gets the email from me after the date when applications are due saying, I don't have an application from you. I need to get you placed. Let me tell you how this process works. Clinical applications this semester for continuing candidates, not you guys. Continuing candidates were due on a Tuesday. Okay? I spent Thursday, Friday, all that weekend, I think it totaled about 36 hours going through and individually evaluating your applications to make sure I had all of the information. Then that next week, I was in human resources with Cleveland County Schools making placements and sending emails out to about 10 other counties for placements. Now, my turnaround is pretty quick. The county's turnaround varies. Once I hit send, and I push that information out to HR from varying counties, we are then at the mercy of the county. We have to wait on them. So, last semester, I had a second semester junior that got her placement the first week in April. The semester was over 5 weeks later. It happens sometimes. And it had nothing to do with us and everything to do with the system that she had asked to be placed in. There were some extenuating circumstances. Someone got sick, was out of the office. I mean, things happen, guys. So, don't panic if by midterm you're not seeing your placements yet. My goal is to have them all back and pushed out to you by midterm. But I can only do that if I have the information from the individual school systems. So be patient with me, please, in this process. And also know and understand, this is my first semester doing this process. So I'm learning, and I'm sure making mistakes as we go along.
That's where that disposition thing comes in handy. It seems like it's so obvious when I'm talking about it, like, oh, of course I'm going to be positive. Of course I'm going to be positive. Of course I'm going to be, I'm going to be professional. And then you don't get your placement for the first several weeks of class and you're mad. Don't, mistakenly send out an email, something not so nice in it. Or, don't put anything in writing that's not so nice. Well, I'll say it all right. But I'm just saying, there will be moments of frustration, and that's what that document is about, like handling those moments of frustration.
Absolutely. And there will be moments of frustration. I get it. I'm sitting in my office just as frustrated as you are. I promise. Ask Dr. Johnson. She's seen me in my office frustrated because of processes and things that are slowing me down. Okay? So I appreciate your patience. One thing to keep in mind, especially my TUG candidates, it's kind of hard for my TAs not to contact the school systems when you're actually in the school systems every day. But for my TUG candidates especially, you guys don't contact the school system until you have gotten an email saying, here is your clinical placement. Okay? Every one of you will get an email. It's generated by a program that I go in and enter your placement into, and then it shoots you an email out. It'll have the school, the county, the school's web address, the teacher, and the teacher's email address. Okay? That's when you craft that very professionally written contact and ask, when can you come? Don't say, I want to come on XYZ. You say, thank you for allowing me to come to your classroom and observe. Here are the expectations for my course. You copy and paste it from the syllabus. For you. Okay. And then you say, when would you like for me to come? Yeah.
Okay, you say that we are placed where we already are with our current schedule.
You are in your schools. Yes, you guys will be in your schools,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily in your classrooms. It depends on the clinical.
Would it be different?
You're a TA in a middle school. If you've got an experience that can be a K6, does your middle school have a 6th grade? You can go to 6th grade, but now 302 has a K2 placement and a 3, 5, but she could stretch to 6.
I
I
wouldn't
think.
mind your stretching, but
Yeah.
you just have to find somewhere for 1 hour where you can go to.
Right. And if you want me to make that placement for you, I can.
You come see me. You come to Caldwell County and measure my kindergarten classroom.
Honestly, legally, I would rather make that placement. So shoot me an email and remind me. Okay. Professionalism. You guys just listened to Dr. Johnson talk about dispositions. And she talked about 9 dispositions upon which you will be evaluated during your time with us. Remember, 250, 350, 450. Now, not only should you be thinking about your communication in the email that you send, but you also need to be thinking about your communication while you're in that classroom, your communication when you walk in that front door to the school. And you need to make a good impression. Anytime you walk into a school as a representative of Gardner-Webb University, you need to look nice, look professional, look like a teacher, act like a teacher. Because in 2 years, you could be a teacher in that school you're walking into. Every day that you walk into a school, every time you walk into a school, it is a job interview. And you need to dress and act to impress.
I think you gotta get specific here. Even if
I'm
it's.
getting there. I'm getting there.
Sorry.
For many, many years, I worked with a faculty member here. Her name was Dr. Cindy McKinney. She's retired now. But when she would talk to our new students about dressing professionally, she would say, ladies, legs and thighs are for KFC.
That's not what I meant.
Now, think about this. Think about the dress code at the school. Look around at the other teachers. We don't need to have short skirts and low blouses in a school. Okay? Dress professionally. Guys, jeans,
And women, right?
women,
No jeans.
jeans, When you're student teaching, even if you're a TA, when you're student teaching and your school has Fun Fridays where everybody gets to wear jeans, guess what? You don't. Sorry, you don't.
Or when you can pay $5 to
That's
United
right.
Way,
Feel free to donate,
feel free to donate. But not allowed.
but we're not wearing jeans. Now, if you are in a school and you're teaching a lesson, let's say reading a book, give me a good dress-up book, Dr. Johnson.
I'm gonna go with Miss Nelson is missing.
Oh. Oh. So how would you, if you wanted to hook the students, how would you do that?
I have in the past been known to dress as Miss Viola Swamp and come in and read that book with like the hairdo and the really bright pink cheeks and the black dress, pretend to be really mean and read the book to them.
That is perfectly acceptable during your literacy time. But when that time is over, go put your slacks back on. Okay?
Can I ask a related question? So
Sure.
during Read Across America Week in March, would you not dress up, like, on Heritage Day?
Not during student teaching.
That's fine, I just wanted to.
Yeah. We've been asked about Polar Express Day and,
No
pajamas.
pajamas.
Okay, I got another one.
Yep.
We go on a field trip, because every year we take a field trip, and it's an active one, like they pan for gyms and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's jeans because you get.
That's
That one's
different.
okay. That one's
Field
okay.
trips, wear jeans, wear tennis shoes, wear the school t-shirt, that's different.
Okay, just some clarification. For this, when we're doing student teaching are all clinical exercises, all for every class.
All clinicals for every class, you need to be dressed professionally. Now, if you're a TA,
Yeah, you do that.
you carry on the way that you've been carrying on. Okay? But you guys, when you walk into a school, we're going to start doing some clinicals in a couple weeks. And I'll be doing checks for blue jeans, visible body piercings. We've had students in the past not take nose rings out, and administrators say something to us about it. So if you've got nose rings, eyebrow, facial piercings, take them out, or put a Band-Aid over it.
And Read Across America, like if it's Wacky Hat Day or something, go for it,
Dr. Johnson's stuff.
I
on the
love
Read Across
costumes.
America.
I love costumes. This is really hard for me, so this is in my disposition handbook where I have to like go with the majority because I love costumes, but I get it.
There is a link in this presentation that you have access to on our SOE orientation page. Take a look at that link. Okay, these are things that we've been talking about. Okay. 250 items due for class. Clinical experience applications. Yes,
Did we check with Dr. Bull on his 250 class?
I'm
This is the same day.
I'm pretty sure it should be the same day because I said his class. I love him. All right, your clinical experience applications, which means you've got to find the task stream email if you've not finalized that process in task stream. If for some reason you can't find that email, this is who you're going to contact. His name is Seth Oprea. SOPREA at gardner-webb.edu. Okay. So if you do not have the task stream email, once you comb your email, contact him. He is the person that goes in and has those sent.
Okay, so when I contact them, because I just checked, and I like verified my name and whatnot, but when I tried to go on there to do like the clinical, I guess verified clinical, it won't, it doesn't have that extra box, like it has the
Email him.
email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if it says network error, mine keeps saying network error.
Email him back, because mine does the same thing. Email him back, so then he sent me another.
Yeah, any problems with task stream, email Seth.
That's your guy.
He is our task stream administrator.
Do all of these apply to TAs? Like we don't have to, we have to do a volunteer form? And
Did you go into the TA section?
yeah, I did, I'm just going off of your slide. I mean, I was
Okay.
just going off of.
Because remember, we're doing
Okay.
two groups here. Two groups here.
If you don't have it, just
Email Seth.
and he'll get it there for you. He's
Yeah.
really quick.
So, specifically, volunteer forms, especially for my TUG candidates. You guys are going to do a Cleveland County volunteer form before we can go to the schools. All right? I will send that out to you via our Blackboard page. So you'll be getting that. You need to fill it out, scan it, and submit it into TaskStream with your 250 application for clinical. We will be going together during class time. We'll go to an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. Okay? Anybody else that is in, is there anybody here that's in the DCP program? Okay. Some qualifiers. DCP, not TA, elementary. Cleveland County. Elizabeth, Cleveland County? Okay. So you're going to come with us on our days. So I'll make sure I communicate that with you.
You send the, school district volunteer form on our Blackboard page.
I will. I will. No, I'll place you. Yeah. There's also, you're also going to be getting another important email. And it'll come the first of this week. And it will say info marked. That's your background check. You have paid as part of the tuition for your 250 class, you've paid for a background check. You're checked in 250, you're checked in 450. Okay? You have to initiate the process. I make sure the email goes out to you. You have to take it from there because there's personal identifying information that I don't need or want, like your social security number. It will go to InfoMart. They get those checks back to us within about 48 hours. Don't panic. If you've got speeding tickets, you're not going to be kept out of the school. If that were the case, I'd be under Gardner Webb. Okay? Got a lead foot. Get it from my mom. Yes. Yes.
What was the question?
Is this also relevant for PKE candidates, first kindergarten candidates? Yes. All of you will get an email from InfoMart. Write that name down. Make sure when it comes through, and I'll try to send a message out through via your Blackboard announcements to let you know, hey, the InfoMart emails have been sent. Okay? Because you have to fill that out. All right? It's going to be coming likely Monday morning. To be looking for it. Okay, so my tug group and Elizabeth. Right now, and these are highlighted for a reason because this is tentative. I'm still waiting to get confirmation from Jennifer Aberly, who is the Human Resource Director at Cleveland County Schools. But right now, we are set to go Monday, October 7th to Crest Middle School. Wednesday, October 9th, Springmore Elementary.
I think that would be me also, because I'm Cleveland County too.
BK,
Yes.
Wednesday, 3. Wednesday, October, not March. Sorry, guys. Wednesday, October. I don't even think the 6th is right. I think I forgot to change that one. 16th. Wednesday, October 16th. Sorry, guys. Well, I almost made it through the day without a major snafu. So write this down. I'll change it, make sure the right date gets up. Wednesday, October 16th, Crest High School. Okay? We'll be there from 12 to 1:50. You're going to want to be there right at 12. We'll leave probably about 1:25. Give you time to get back to campus. Okay? You must be prompt and dressed professionally. Talked about that quite a bit today, haven't we? Oh yeah, the flip flop. Yeah. Here, talk about flip flops. Because I love flip flops. I can't badmouth flip flops.
When I worked in Cabarrus County, there was an entire PowerPoint presentation on what is a flip flop. True story. You're not, what's that over there? Yeah, it's true. You can't wear flip flops in schools. It's an OSHA thing too. So no flip flops. You can wear dressy sandals, but they do those kind of flip flops? St. Cabarrus, those are flip flops. That's a flip flop. But
It doesn't have walk.
Dr. Johnson can't. She's finished.
what is
Yeah.
the defense, Dr. Watson? Chacos? I don't think.
I wouldn't think
I would think
so.
not. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so this is, besides the 3-6 instead of the 10-16, this is the most recent one. Remember when I gave you guys that printed schedule in class, I said it could change. Probably not yet, because I just got this verification a couple days ago. Yeah, the schools are different. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
We're going more than just these 3 days to face-to-face, right, at the, to do observation.
Say that again, I couldn't hear you.
Are we just going these days to do the observation?
For EDU-C or EDU 250, yes, it's just 3 observations.
Okay.
Now, are you in 302? Okay, because 302 has additional observations if you're in that class. Yes. You guys will have to work out your transportation, so I'll remind you in class, the class meeting before, to be talking about transportation. You'll get back in time. Leave at 11:50 and meet me at school as quick as you can. Yep.
That's what I was gonna say, half of our class is wearing masks with Dr. Willis.
Yeah. If I think about it, I'll shoot Dr. Willis an email and say, hey, can you work with? Yeah, thank you, Dr. Johnson. Like the reminder for the clicker this morning.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I deserve
inside
that.
joke there.
I deserve it.
Don't stress out about this, guys. We've been doing it for years. It's gonna work itself out. Okay? All right. Questions, comments, complaints, confessions. I had a coach, a college coach that used to ask me that. She quit asking after about the first 3 times. Yes, you have to have, you'll go ahead and do one through Gardner Webb because we have to have one on file. Good question. TAs do not have to do the volunteer form. You do not, if you are a TA, you do not have to do the volunteer form. You still have to do it. It's probably, yes, you'll still get the information. Yeah. I'm not sure, we'll have to look at that DRF.
No, what you're, this will be overwhelmed, there's not remember if you've done it. But have talked to Dr. Johnson about, my part.
Okay, so you don't remember if you've done anything in task stream?
No, you said that I talked to today about it, but I don't remember.
Shoot me an email. I couldn't tell you right now at this moment. I'll have to look in task stream and do some digging. Send me an email. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
We didn't talk about this today, but could you go in, well, briefly talk about how we choose a mentor or?
No. No, because I don't know that yet. It's like how I was all serious. No. No, we don't have that process hammered out yet. That's something Dr. Bull will share with you guys in 250. You're welcome. Sorry if I scared you.
Well, off topic, so, thank you.
I do like the microphone. We actually use one in dance class, so I like talking to the kids on microphone. Okay, anyways, I know you said that you recorded this session, and I know some of our professors, they say that they record their Zoom session. How do you get to them?
Ooh, that's a good question. So let me get some feedback from you guys, because I've been teeter-tottering back and forth on this issue. I record every class I teach. Okay? In the past, I've done this 2 ways. I've just put a link in my Blackboard page and I've created a playlist.
A YouTube playlist.
A YouTube playlist, and there's a link in my Blackboard page that goes to that. Okay? Some professors want you to email them. Take the initiative and ask for the link.
Don't make me do that.
So let me ask you this. Which are you more likely to do? Put the link in Blackboard. Put the link in Blackboard. Am I hearing an amen over there from that side? Okay. Okay.
I have to wait until you can respond.
Yeah.
So let's, I have a motion on the floor.
Second it.
The motion is to ask all education professors, and you're talking to the right person, to ask all education professors to provide a YouTube playlist link in Blackboard classes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, raise a hand. Okay, motion carried. That will happen from now on. We'll get it going on Monday.
Well, we voted to ask. Right.
Tell. That's what I meant. When I said ask, I meant tell. I was trying to be nice, but
I didn't know we could just tell.
I mean, tomato. I might need to hand the mic to Dr. Lord. She's awfully quiet over here. All right. We'll make sure that happens, guys. If that's what you want us to do, we will absolutely be responsive to you and to your needs.
Just speaking from an online point of view and working with
full-time job, our time out of our job is precious, and that's when we do all our homework. We really don't have a lot of time to wait. I mean, which I understand y'all are busy too, but we don't have a lot of time to wait for y'all to respond with links to access that information when we may need something right then.
That's a good rationale.
We'll use that.
Absolutely.
Hey, one other thing that my phone just reminded me of,
Oh,
because it was
boy.
just telling me somebody got fired from the Raiders for an Instagram post. Yeah.
Let's talk.
Professionalism.
Let's
in
talk
social
about
media.
professionalism in social media.
Okay, so Antonio Brown or whatever, just got dropped by the Raiders for an Instagram post. And this can happen to you. Anybody who watches The Bachelor, Bachelorette knows happens when you're tweeting stuff.
You tell me those people are.
But you can still become the president, so I don't know. I stand by my statement. My point is just be careful about what you're posting on social media, or even if you have it at all. I know that like when I went into my last year of my doc program, I actually just canceled all of my social media for a couple of reasons. It takes a year to get a job in higher ed, so I was going to be applying for jobs, and I didn't necessarily need everybody to know how I felt in life or how many kids I had. It's not fair, but we can be judged for these things. And then, you might accidentally like something, right? Or have commented on something 12 years ago. Not everybody needs to know about, but they can find that. And then the other reason is just it freed up a lot of time in my life to be able to do a very hard thing in my life, which was to finish my doc program. And this is a really hard time consuming part of your life. So you might consider, I don't think we're forcing you to do it or anything, but you might consider even just laying off your accounts for a while. And then actually, I never started mine back up. So it kind of put me, I don't know, I became less addicted to it.
I was high without mine. But you know what? You can lock it down. So if you know with it, lock it down as far as you can. My best friend and I just became Facebook friends like a week ago. And she's like, I feel like we've gone to a new level. She's like, every time I check your Facebook page, I'm not allowed to see anything. So that's because we're not friends. So you can lock it down. Just, be mindful of what you post.
Yeah, don't put it out there.
Use your filter when you're putting things out there.
Yeah.
It will be best just to go ahead and not have it at all, because I'm telling you, the littlest thing
Yep.
that you think will not get you in trouble
Yeah.
is what you're gonna be sitting in the principal's office getting.
That's right.
And getting reprimanded for the smallest thing.
That's right. So no posting from a school saying, oh my gosh, is this day ever gonna end? Or I cannot believe I just watched this teacher do this.
That's
Or, I mean,
Did you
seriously,
see the teacher in Morrisville that just got
got fired
fired last week for that?
for
That
that.
was wrong. That wasn't even mild. That was bad.
So the point being, when we talk about professionalism, we're in a day and age when we also have to talk about social media, Instagram, Facebook. Is MySpace even a thing anymore?
No.
Wondering that. Twitter, Snapchat, all those fun things. All right? You gotta be, I see you. You gotta be careful. You have to be careful. Because that all falls into that professionalism piece. Okay?
Completely off to the side.
Look, she's like
She was flinching.
flinching away. It's like a weapon or something. I know.
From a writer's standpoint, why APA style?
Ah, so for online folks, writer standpoint, why APA style? APA is the style that was adopted by Gardner-Webb University. So all classes use APA, save maybe some English classes, because those English professors are going to be rebels. I'm looking back here at my English people. Rebels, they're going to use MLS just because everybody else is using APA. I'm just kidding. But they do, I think, sometimes use the MLS. But that's just what's been adopted by the institution. Other questions? So,
I have a question.
deep breath. You have survived the fall 2019 School of Education orientation, and you're still smiling. That says a lot. That says a lot. So, what I want to say to you now is this. You are training to enter into the most impactful profession there is on this planet. Let me say it again. You are training to enter the most impactful profession there is on this planet. The lives that you are going to touch are infinite. Take it seriously. Do the work. We are here to support you. We will make sure that when you're sitting up here at this table doing a student teaching panel, you're ready. That's our job. That's our commitment. That's our promise to you. Okay? Travel safely. Have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. Thank you for being here.
and I feel for you. Try not to stress yourself out. I realize feedback is a big assignment to me. Yeah, and that's 100%.
I don't.
Brittany, you think we can just log off?
I don't know. I was kind of waiting for her to come back so I could ask the question.
I know. And I feel like I want her to see me before she closes it out, like so I can feel I was here the whole time.
Right.
You can talk
Hey,
to
Ella
Mama.
Grace.
Say hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
I did the task stream thing and I did not realize there was a submit button at the very top. I just did it.
So it was just sitting there waiting?
Yes, and I was like, oh, like the guy told me I was fine, but apparently I wasn't.
Oops. So she said we do have to do the background check paperwork, but it's going to come to us on Monday in an email. Right?
I don't know. We've already had background checks. We work in the school system.
I'm going to mute this because Ella's watching a movie now.
Okay.
I'll hang out.
That's how it comes alive. Yeah, I'm so glad to meet you guys in person. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I kind of actually thought that too. So, do you mean for student teaching or do you mean just for 302? So for 302, what grade level? We're fine with you doing, and you teach the class, doing one of them. Right, 3-5. Yeah, she's got her other person. Yeah, you can do the, she can do that. But her school might assign her other teacher in the building. She's 9 hours. So she's going to do an hour observation, an hour observation, and 6 other hours here. What? Whatever the teacher tells me. Healthy. Just we have 9 hours. You've got a job and you're trying to do too.
Hey guys, anybody have any questions?
I just have a quick question. I mean, for the most part, things have been going pretty smoothly. But recently, like in our EDU 250 class, like out of nowhere, a meeting was added and we didn't even really know about it until I just happened to check my email. So that was kind of like thrown for a loop when it wasn't on our syllabus.
Okay.
So like with things changing, could we get like more notification with that? Because we weren't supposed to have a Zoom meeting with Dr. Bull on Thursday, and I just happened to be checking my email and was like, there's one in like 2 hours.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So an earlier notice of things like that.
Right. And I understand because he was saying that people were asking for that because it was helping them. But had I not checked my email, I would have never known it and I would have missed it.
Right. Okay.
And
Okay.
then with a couple of our classes, we have different graders within that. And so with, talking to my sister-in-law, Mandy, and stuff, like having different graders, and we feel like we're being held to different standards between the graders.
Okay. And I would, because these assessors this is the first semester that we've used those. So be sure to share that information with Dr. Bull.
Okay. Okay, because we also have it, I think, in our math class as well.
Math,
and
maybe 302 if you're taking 302.
it's with Dr. Willis.
Okay.
So, I know we're allowed, like in Dr. Bull's class, we can go back and fix those things. But like in Dr. Willis's class, a lot of like Mandy and I have had to work together doing it because my book still has not come in, and because they had misplaced it, and so I'm waiting for it to get here. And we haven't written the same thing, but it's pretty similar because we've worked together, and she gets one grade, I get another, and it's like, come on now, we worked together and did it. So
Okay. Okay. I'll be sure to share that information. Any questions in regards to dispositions or clinical experiences at this point?
I did my task stream thing, but apparently I didn't submit it. I just realized that. I went back and checked it.
Yeah, you have to.
And it's been sitting there. I've had it done, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize there was a thing at the top of the screen.
Right.
So I guess I have everything now. So, like you said, it's going to take you a little bit to get everything in and then wait for the county. So I just want to make sure that I'm where, I've done what I'm supposed to do and I'm not missing anything.
Sure. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Aisha, Mandy? You guys okay? I'm just glad to see you all and know that you're okay.
Yeah.
And that you're safe, because we were really worried about you guys here. We've been praying all week for your safety when Dorian was impending. So I'm just glad to see you and know that you're okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for attending. Let me know if you missed any piece or part of this, or if you want the links sent. Let me know, and I'll send those to you. Okay.
Can I get the first one? My computer was not wanting to cooperate, so I missed the first part of it.
Give me an email, because I'll forget between here and the door.
Okay.
So, I think I have Alzheimer's or something.
I'm right there with you.
An email. All right, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.